I am 77 years old, and I still read the newspaper without magnifying glasses. Not because I am special, nor because I have perfect sight, but because I discovered something that almost no one does for their eyes. A few years ago, my reality was very different. At dusk, the letters began to come together. I had to move the book away, stretch my arm, look for more light. The words turned into blurry shadows, and after a while, my eyes felt heavy and dry, as if I had spent the whole day in front of a bright spotlight. Reading, which had always been a pleasure, started to become an effort. The same thing happened to me when sewing or threading a needle. Before, it took me a few seconds. Later, I could spend several minutes trying to hit the eye with the thread. It was the same with the television. It was not the news that tired me. It was my eyes. I ended up turning off the screen because I felt a sort of fog in front of me. If this sounds familiar, you are not the only one. With age, eyesight changes. That is true. Focusing up close becomes more difficult. Light bothers us more. We need more time to get used to the dark, and our eyes get tired more easily. It is part of aging, but many people give up far too soon. They accept that seeing blurry, feeling burning, or noticing cloudy vision is simply what is supposed to happen. I thought so too for a while. I believed that the only solution was to change glasses every few years and just put up with the fatigue. Until one day, almost by chance, I started doing a small exercise for my eyes. It did not take me more than half a minute, but I decided to repeat it every day. 30 seconds today, 30 seconds tomorrow, 30 seconds the day after. I am not going to tell you that this exercise works miracles or that it is going to cure serious diseases. I am not going to sell you anything, nor promise you that you will have the eyesight you had when you were 20. The only thing I'm going to do is tell you how a very simple habit of half a minute a day helped me keep my sight clearer, reduce eye fatigue, and feel that I could still trust my eyes to read, sew, and enjoy the little things. I want you to see this exercise for what it is: a help, one more tool to take care of your eyes, just as you take care of your blood pressure, your diet, or your rest. It does not replace a checkup with a specialist nor a medical treatment. If you have an eye disease, if you notice a sudden change in your vision or a strange pain, you should always consult a professional. But besides that, there are small daily gestures that can make a difference. In this video, I'm going to explain what I discovered, why it works, and how you can do it too from your home, sitting in your armchair, without strange devices and without complications. Just you, your hands and your eyes, for a few seconds every day. Before we go on, I would like to get to know you a little more. Tell me in the comments how old you are and from which country you are listening to us. I would love to know who is on the other side of the screen. Now, yes, let us begin. As the years go by, the eyes change just like the rest of the body. It does not happen from one day to the next, but one day you realize that something is not like it used to be. The first thing that usually appears is difficulty focusing up close. Before, you could read a label stuck on a jar without any problem. Now you have to stretch your arm a little more. The letters seem smaller, as if they shrank from one moment to the next, when in reality it is your eyes that need more effort to focus. Sensitivity to light also increases. What used to be a normal lamp can now seem too bright. The headlights of the car coming toward you bother you more. Bright screens tire you faster. Many people find that when they go out on a sunny day, they feel they need dark glasses even though they hardly used them before. Another very common change is dry eyes. The eyes no longer lubricate in the same way. You notice stinging, a gritty feeling, the urge to blink more or even to close your eyes for a few seconds to rest. Added to this is the fact that to read something, you need more light than before. Where a small lamp once was enough, now you find yourself moving the book closer to the window or turning on another light because it seems that the words are hiding in the shadows. All of this shows up in the little things of everyday life. You try to read the tiny letters on a package in the kitchen and end up taking it to the window. You go to a restaurant and the menu seems written in code, dark, with letters that are too thin. You look at your phone, and after a while, the letters start to dance. You try to thread a needle, and what used to take a few seconds now turns into a test of patience. Some people end up giving up sewing, reading, or doing crafts because they feel that their eyes are no longer up to it. Faced with this, many believe there are only two paths. The first is to resign yourself and say, "It is age," putting up with the discomfort and cutting down on activities that demand visual effort. The second is to think that the only solution is to change glasses again and again, increase the prescription, and depend completely on them for everything. And although glasses are an extremely valuable help and necessary in many cases, they are not the only resource. There are small daily habits that relieve the strain on the eyes, reduce fatigue, and help make the day more bearable. Imagine two people of the same age. Let us call them Anthony and Louis. Anthony starts to notice that his eyes get tired. His eyes itch at the end of the afternoon. He has to bring the book very close, and his head hurts a bit after reading. However, he ignores it. He complains but keeps doing the same. He reads for hours on end without a break, watches television until late, lives with the dryness, and simply thinks that he no longer has the eyesight he had before. Louis, on the other hand, feels similar discomfort but reacts differently. He realizes that his eyes are asking for help and decides to listen. He starts taking small breaks while reading, blinks more consciously when he uses his phone, and asks his doctor what he can do, besides using glasses, to take better care of his eyesight. He discovers simple relaxation exercises and focus changes that he can do while sitting in a matter of seconds and begins to include them in his routine. Over time, they are still the same age, but their daily experience is different. Anthony feels that his eyes limit him, that they get tired quickly, and that he can do fewer and fewer things without discomfort. Louis, on the other hand, also notices the passing of the years, but feels that his eyes recover better, that the fatigue appears later, and that he can still enjoy reading, sewing, or looking at a screen without so much discomfort. The eyes age, yes, just like the knees, the back, or the hands, but that does not mean you have to surrender. Taking care of them every day, even with small gestures, can make a big difference in how you see and how you feel. It is not about stopping time. It is about accompanying your body in this stage with a little more attention and kindness. It was when I understood these changes, when I realized that my eyes were not failing but asking for help, that I decided to try something different. And that is how I came to this exercise of barely half a minute. For a while, I got used to living with tired eyes. I would finish reading and feel a sort of weight behind my forehead, as if I had spent the whole day staring at a single fixed point. One day, while I was trying to read the tiny letters on the leaflet of some medicine, I had to give up. The letters blurred together, the paper seemed to move away, and I had to put it down on the table. At that moment, I thought, that's enough. I need someone to look at my eyes. I made an appointment with the ophthalmologist for a routine checkup. I did not go in scared, but I was worried. When I sat down in his office, the first thing I told him was something very simple. I can see, but I get tired. It did not used to be like this. He smiled with that mixture of familiarity and understanding that doctors have when they hear the same thing over and over again. He did the usual tests, put me in front of the letters on the screen, brought lenses closer and farther away, checked the back of my eyes with a light that seemed to go right into my thoughts. When he finished, he looked at me calmly and told me that what I had was quite typical of my age. He talked to me about presbyopia, dryness, and visual fatigue. None of that surprised me. What did catch my attention was when he told me, very simply, that my eyes did not only need glasses, they also needed rest. He explained that we spend too much time looking at the same distance, especially up close, and that the eye muscles get tired like any other muscle in the body. He told me about the importance of blinking more often, especially when I read or look at screens, because when we concentrate, we tend to blink less and the eyes dry out. He said that it was essential to change focus from time to time, to lift our eyes from the book or the phone and look at something far away for a few seconds. He insisted that it was not good to strain for hours on end, that the eyes appreciate small breaks even if they are brief. I listened to all that and nodded, but inside, I was thinking the same thing you might be thinking now. It sounds logical, but in practice, you end up forgetting. Then came the key moment. Before I got up from the chair, the doctor added, "If you do not want to complicate things with many rules, keep it simple. Set aside just half a minute a day for your eyes, a short, easy exercise that you can repeat always. A small daily gesture is better than a lot of effort that only lasts a week." That sentence aroused my curiosity. I asked him what he meant by that half a minute. He explained a very simple exercise that combined eye relaxation and changes of focus. Nothing strange, nothing that needed devices or awkward positions. Just closing your eyes for a few moments, letting them rest in the dark, covering them gently with your hands to block the light, and then opening them and alternating your gaze between something near and something far, finishing with a few seconds of conscious blinking. As he explained it, two thoughts crossed my mind at the same time. The first was skepticism. I told myself, can 30 seconds really change anything? My eyes have been getting tired for years. The second thought was more practical. I have nothing to lose. Half a minute will not ruin my day. I can try it. I left the office with my usual prescription for glasses, but also with that piece of advice turning over in my mind. When I got home, I sat in my usual armchair, looked out the window, and thought that, if I wanted to notice any change, doing it once would not be enough. I had to turn it into a habit, like taking a pill at the same time every day or brushing my teeth before going to bed. I decided I would do the exercise every day at a specific time. First, I tried after breakfast before opening the newspaper. Then, I realized that I could also do it at night, just after turning off the television, as a way to thank my eyes for all the work they had done that day. I did not want a lot of rules, just to choose a fixed moment so that I would not forget. At the beginning, I did it almost out of duty, without much faith. I closed my eyes, took a deep breath, covered them with my hands, changed the focus, blinked slowly. Half a minute goes by very quickly. But after a few days, I began to feel something different. It was not a miracle. It was not suddenly perfect vision. It was a feeling of relief, of rest, as if my eyes were finally saying to me, "Thank you." And that is how I started, without imagining that half a minute a day would end up changing the way my eyes felt. But before I tell you how to do it, you need to understand what it actually does for you. To understand why such a brief exercise can help your eyes, you first have to think about how we use them every day. We spend many hours looking at the same distance. We read the newspaper almost right in front of our face. We look at the phone a few centimeters away. We watch television from the same armchair. We focus on the needle or our hands while sewing. The eyes, like any muscle in the body, get tired when they make the same effort all the time without a break. When you focus on something up close for a long time, the eye muscles stay in constant tension. It is as if you were holding your arm outstretched with a light object in your hand. At first, nothing happens, but if you keep it there too long, your arm starts to tremble and hurt. Something similar happens with the eyes. We cannot see the effort because we cannot look inside, but we feel it as tiredness, blurry vision, and headaches. In addition, when we concentrate on what we are looking at, we tend to blink less. You may not notice it, but it is so. By blinking less, the surface of the eye dries out. That thin layer of tears that protects the cornea is interrupted and stinging. A gritty feeling and the urge to rub your eyes appear. If you add age to that, and the fact that we naturally produce fewer tears, the discomfort multiplies. The exercise I'm telling you about works as an active break for your eyes. It is not simply resting your eyes by staring at the ceiling. It is a purposeful rest. In just a few seconds, you relax the muscles that have been tense, you change the focus so that your eyes are not trapped at the same distance, you stimulate blinking, and you help the tears spread better across the entire surface of the eye. It is based on three very simple ideas. The first is gentle relaxation. When you close your eyes for a few moments and lightly cover them with your hands, you block out the light and allow the whole system to rest in the dark. It is not about pressing, but about giving them a break. Just that gesture already reduces tension. The second idea is changing distances. After that brief rest, you open your eyes and for a few seconds, alternate your gaze between something you have nearby, like your hands, and something farther away, maybe a picture on the wall or an object on the other side of the room. With this simple action, you make the eye muscles move from one position to another, like stretching a joint that has been stiff. The third idea is conscious blinking. You finish the exercise by blinking slowly, intentionally, as if you wanted each blink to be a caress for your eyes. This slow blinking helps spread the tears across the entire surface, hydrates, cleans small particles, and leaves the eyes more comfortable. How does this feel in practice? Before doing it, you may feel a sort of tightness behind your eyes, your sight a bit cloudy, difficulty keeping your attention on letters or details. After those few seconds, many people notice that their vision feels lighter, that the stinging decreases, and that letters seem a bit more defined for a while. It is not that the world suddenly becomes perfect, but that you reduce that feeling that your eyes cannot take it anymore. It is important to say it clearly. This exercise is not magic, and it does not cure serious diseases. It does not replace medical treatment, and it cannot solve problems that require surgery, specific drops, or frequent checkups. What it can do is help reduce fatigue, ease part of the discomfort, and keep visual comfort for as long as possible. It is a way of telling your eyes every day that you are thinking of them. Think of it as a short break for a worker who has been hours without sitting down. It will not change his job, but it will allow him to continue the day with less pain. Your eyes are with you from the moment you wake up until you go to sleep. Giving them half a minute of conscious attention is a simple way to thank them for all they do for you. Now that you know why it matters, I'm going to explain step by step how to do this exercise in a simple and safe way. Now we are getting to what really interests you: how to do this exercise. I want you to picture it with me, step by step, calmly. You do not need to stand up. You do not need any special device, just a place where you can sit with your back supported, your feet on the floor, and a few seconds of quiet. You can do it in your favorite armchair, on a kitchen chair, or on the edge of the bed. The important thing is that you are comfortable, and that for a few moments, nothing is rushing you. If you wear glasses, you can take them off so it is easier. Let us go to the first movement. Sit with your back straight but relaxed, plant your feet firmly, and let your hands rest on your legs. Close your eyes gently without squeezing them. With your eyes closed, take a deep breath. Breathe in through your nose, counting slowly in your mind, hold the air for a second, and then breathe out calmly through your mouth. Do this 2 or 3 times. You are not doing anything strange, just giving your body and your eyes the signal that they can slow down. Second movement. With your eyes still closed, raise your hands and place your palms over them, as if you wanted to give them a bit of shade. Your hands should touch the skin around your eyes, your forehead, and your cheekbones, but without pressing on the eyeballs. It is just gentle contact, like a caress. Imagine that your hands are 2 curtains that block the light and allow your eyes to rest in comfortable darkness. Stay like this for a few seconds while you keep breathing calmly. Third movement. Gently remove your hands and slowly open your eyes. Do not force them. Let the light in little by little. Now the intention of the exercise changes. Choose a nearby object, something at arm's length, perhaps your own hands, a book on the table, or a detail of your clothing. Look at it for a few seconds, long enough to notice your eyes focusing on it clearly. Then pick a point that is farther away. It might be a picture on the wall, a door, a window, or some object on the other side of the room. Direct your gaze there and hold it for a few seconds. Then go back again to the nearby object. Alternate like this several times, from near to far, from far to near, without rushing. There is no need to count. Just let your eyes make that small journey a few times, like stretching a leg that has fallen asleep. Fourth and final movement. When you finish alternating your gaze, let your sight rest on a comfortable point without effort. Then start blinking consciously. Close and open your eyes slowly, as if each blink were a soft wave passing over them. Do several slow blinks, feeling how the tears spread, moisten, and clean the surface. If you like, you can close your eyes for a second between blinks and then open them again. That is all. If you notice, there is nothing complicated about it. closing your eyes and breathing, covering them gently, changing focus, blinking calmly. In total, if you do it without rushing, it may take a little more than half a minute, and if one day you feel like making it last a few seconds longer, that is fine too. The important thing is not the stopwatch, it is the intention with which you do it. There are a few recommendations that are worth keeping in mind. Do not strain your eyes if you feel pain. This exercise should feel pleasant, not uncomfortable. Do not make sudden movements with your neck nor twist your head too far to look for faraway objects. If something bothers you, stop, rest, and if you think it is necessary, talk to your doctor. Remember that this is about caring, not demanding. As for frequency, you can do it once a day or several times. Many people find it useful before they start reading, as a way of preparing their eyes. Others prefer to do it after, to help them recover. It can also be a good idea to practice it after using your phone or tablet, especially if you have been looking at the screen for a long time. The important thing is that you find a time of day when you are really going to remember it. If you manage to turn it into a small ritual, just like washing your face or brushing your teeth, your eyes will start to look forward to that moment of rest. And little by little, you will notice that they respond better. But just as important as doing this exercise is avoiding the habits that, without you noticing, are damaging your eyesight every day. Although the half-minute exercise can help a lot, it is also important to look honestly at the habits that damage your sight without you realizing it. Very often, it is not a serious illness that wears out our eyes, but small mistakes repeated every day. One of the most frequent is reading in poor light, sometimes out of habit, sometimes to save electricity. We stay with a weak lamp or with the television as the only source of light. When the light is insufficient, the eyes have to work harder to distinguish letters and contours. That extra effort does not always show up right away, but after a while, the tiredness, blurry vision, and, in some cases, headaches appear. Another very common habit is using unsuitable glasses. Glasses with an old prescription, borrowed glasses, glasses bought anywhere without a proper checkup. They may seem to do the job for now, but they force your eyes to continually compensate for what the lens is not doing correctly. It is like walking in shoes that are not your size. You make it to the end of the day, yes, but with blisters. It also does not help to spend long periods in front of screens without blinking. When we look at a mobile phone, tablet, or computer, we get so focused that blinking becomes rarer. By blinking less, the surface of the eye dries out and the tears do not spread as they should. The result is stinging, a sandy feeling, redness, and the urge to rub your eyes, which in turn can irritate them even more. On top of this is the habit of spending many hours in a row reading or watching television without taking breaks. You might think you are sitting quietly without making any effort, but your eyes do not see it that way. They are working non-stop, focusing at the same distance. Without small breaks, fatigue builds up and appears sooner than you might think. And perhaps one of the most harmful mistakes is forcing your eyesight when you already feel discomfort. You feel burning, see slightly blurry, find it hard to keep your attention, but you decide to push on. You tell yourself you will just finish that chapter, that program, that message. You push your eyes a bit beyond their limit day after day until the tiredness becomes permanent. I want to tell you a small story that might sound familiar. I know a man I will call Michael. He loves reading historical novels. He would sit down after lunch with his book and could spend the whole afternoon without getting up from the armchair. At first, he only noticed slight discomfort at nightfall, but he decided to ignore it. Over time, he began to end the day with a constant headache and a burning sensation in his eyes, as if he'd been crying without tears. One day, tired of feeling that way, he decided to change a couple of things. Instead of reading all afternoon without a break, he started doing it in blocks. He would read for a while, and between chapters, he would do the half-minute exercise for his eyes. He used those breaks to stand up, walk a few steps, look out the window, and let his gaze relax. He also improved the lighting in his reading corner and had his glasses checked by a specialist. He did not stop reading because it was something he loved, but he stopped treating his eyes as if they were made of iron. After a few weeks, he noticed that he ended the day less tired, that the headache appeared less often, and that his eyes no longer burned like before. It was not a miraculous change. It was the result of small, repeated gestures. Besides the exercise, there are simple recommendations that can help you. Taking regular breaks when you read or look at screens, even if they are just a few minutes. Always looking for good lighting, avoiding reading in dim light, making sure that your glasses are properly prescribed and having them checked when you notice that something has changed. And of course, seeing a specialist if you feel intense pain, see flashes, new spots, or a sudden change in your vision. Your eyes speak to you through these signals. Do not ignore them. The 30-second exercise acts like a gentle shield against these habits, a way of giving your eyes a breather in the middle of daily effort. It cannot, by itself, correct all mistakes, but it can help compensate for some of the wear and tear that builds up. Now that you know what harms your eyes, I want to tell you something even more important: how this small habit changed my daily life. Before I started this small habit, my days almost always ended in the same way. Late in the afternoon, the letters began to lose their shape. I could still read, yes, but I noticed how they became more and more blurry, as if a thin mist settled in front of my eyes. Without realizing it, I began bringing the book closer, then moving it further away, shifting it back and forth, looking for the perfect distance that never lasted very long. Almost always, I ended up rubbing my eyes, first softly, then harder, as if I could erase the fatigue with my hand. Then, a light but persistent headache appeared, right above my eyebrows. It was not a pain that sent me to bed, but it was a discomfort that stayed with me until night, a reminder that my eyes were working harder than they should. When I went out, especially when there was a lot of light, I felt insecure. I had trouble recognizing faces at a certain distance. I hesitated for a second before saying hello in case I was confusing someone. It was not that I could not see. It was that uncomfortable feeling of not being completely sure of what my eyes were showing me. When I started doing the half-minute exercise, at first I did not notice much. In the first few days, I only felt a small momentary relief, as if my eyes sighed for a few seconds. But I decided to go on. Day after day, at the same time, I kept the habit. It did not take any time at all, so I had no excuse to stop. After a few weeks, I began to notice clearer changes. At the end of the afternoon, the letters were still small, of course, but they no longer fell apart so quickly into a blurry mass. I could read a little longer without feeling that weight behind my forehead. My hands stopped going automatically to my eyes to rub them. That gesture, which I used to make without thinking, started to disappear. The soft headache that used to be my frequent companion in the evenings started to visit me less. There were whole days when, suddenly, I realized that nothing hurt. And when I went out, I felt calmer. I recognized faces more easily. I distinguished the details of signs better, and that insecurity that had made me hesitate before greeting someone began to fade. I was not the only one who noticed. A friend of mine, who has been sewing since she was young, told me that lately she could hardly thread a needle without getting angry. She ended up with burning eyes and left her work half done. I told her about this exercise, explained it calmly, and suggested that she do it before sitting down to sew and when she finished. At first, she laughed, saying that half a minute would not change her hands or her sight, but she tried it, almost out of curiosity. After a while, she called me to tell me that, although she still needed good light in her glasses, she no longer ended with that feeling of having sand in her eyes. She could sew a bit longer without getting exhausted, and above all, she had regained the pleasure of her work, because she no longer associated it so much with discomfort. I also heard about a gentleman who spent a large part of the day looking at his phone. He loved seeing photos of his grandchildren, reading the news, and sending messages. But every evening, he ended up with red eyes and blurry vision. I suggested something very simple. Each time he finished a session on his phone, he should do the exercise for half a minute before moving on to something else. He did not give up his phone, and he did not need to, but he added that little pause along the way. Over time, he noticed that his eyes suffered less, and that, by nighttime, he could still look at the screen without feeling that his eyelids weighed a ton. There is something important in all this. The changes did not appear from one day to the next. It was not that he did the exercise once and his eyes were suddenly new. It was the consistency, that gesture repeated day after day, that began to make the difference. Just as a plant does not grow because you water it once, your eyes do not change after a single attempt. They grow, improve, and find relief with small, constant care. You do not need hours of complicated exercises or to learn techniques that are hard to remember. Sometimes, half a minute well spent every day changes more than one huge effort done once. What matters is that this half minute exists, that you give your eyes that conscious rest. But for it to really work for you, you need to weave it naturally into your routine. We have reached the end of this path together, and perhaps now my story feels a little closer to you. Throughout this video, we have talked about something very simple, but very important. Your eyes have changed with the years, that is true. But that does not mean you have to give up or accept tiredness as if it were your only option. Eyesight is part of aging, just like wrinkles or white hair. Seeing up close is harder, light bothers you differently, dryness appears easily. All of this is real, but it is also real that there are small things you can do to ease it. This 30-second exercise is not a magic wand, but it is a simple tool within anyone's reach to say to your eyes, "I know you are there, and I want to take a little better care of you." We have seen why we spend so many hours focusing at the same distance, how that tenses the eye muscles and dries out the surface of the eye. We have also talked about mistakes that many of us make without realizing it. Reading in poor light, using glasses that are not right for us, spending long periods in front of screens without blinking, forcing our eyesight even when it is already complaining. Against all of that, the exercise is based on 4 very simple ideas. The first is relaxation. Closing your eyes for a few moments, breathing deeply, covering them with your hands to give them a moment of darkness and rest. The second is changing focus, alternating your gaze between something near and something far so that the muscles do not stay in the same position all the time. The third is conscious blinking, that slow closing and opening of the eyes that helps distribute the tears and hydrate the surface. And the fourth, although it might not seem like it, is avoiding the habits that damage them and learning to listen to the signals they send you. Seeing clearly is not just making out small letters on a page. Seeing clearly is being able to keep reading the stories that have been with you for years, recognizing the faces of your children and grandchildren, enjoying the colors of the sunset, the green of the trees, the sparkle of the sea or the sky. It is being able to keep saying, "I like to see this," without being afraid that your eyes will give up too soon. That is why my invitation is very concrete. Do not wait until tomorrow or next week. When this video ends, take a single moment for yourself. Sit down, lean back, close your eyes, breathe, do the exercise once. You do not have to do it perfectly. You do not have to count the seconds exactly. Just try it. Notice how your eyes respond. See if there is a little relief, a slight feeling of rest. If you feel like repeating it tomorrow and the next day, even better. And when you have been doing it for a few days, come back to this video and tell me in the comments how you felt, what you noticed, whether anything changed in your reading, in the way you watch television, in how comfortable your eyes feel at the end of the day. Your experience can help many other people who are going through the same thing and have not yet decided to try it. I would also like this space to be a place where we get to know each other a little better. Tell me in the comments your age, where you are listening from, and what you would most like to keep seeing clearly in the coming years. Maybe it is the eyes of someone you love, maybe the pages of your books, maybe the flowers in your garden. Whatever it is, give it a name. Sometimes remembering what we want to keep seeing gives us strength to take better care of ourselves. Remember something simple. As long as you can take care of your eyes, you can still take care of the way you see life. And even if the world around you changes, if you keep looking for ways to see it with kindness, attention, and gratitude, you will continue to see the most important things clearly.